The setting is present day in Washington, D.C. The main character is Tegan, whose father was killed while serving in the army. Tegan lives with her mother and her stepfather, Larry. Edgar, or Edge, is Tegan's boyfriend and was Tom Elliott's best friend. Gwendolyn is a popular swimmer who has bullied Tegan her entire life until they eventually become best friends. Coach is Tegan's swim instructor and role model, who always encourages her. Sharon is a former swimmer who becomes Tegan's close friend after a life-threatening encounter. Ghost Man is a mysterious character who only is visible to Tegan and constantly haunts her. Throughout the story, Tegan must overcome many internal struggles while attempting to save herself by helping others.
Rising action. The rise in action begins when Tegan finds the name Brady Hart on a cereal box. At first, she assumes that this is only a coincidence. But later that day, Tegan watches the news and finds out that a boy with the same name dies. After watching this news broadcast, Tegan can immediately sense that something is wrong. The next day, she finds the name Tom Elliott on the table leg. She attempts to save the boy by following him throughout the day, but she ends up witnessing him commit suicide. The image of Tom Elliott jumping off the train platform with a scarf blowing in the wind causes Tegan to decide to save as many people from this horrible fate as possible. To find out more, Tegan attends Tom Elliott's funeral, where she meets his best friend Edge. Tegan then informs Edge about the mystery on her hands, and together they set out to solve it. The two work together and save several people, which leads to the climax.
After Tegan and Edge begin to rescue people from their fate, the climax begins. First, Tegan sees the name of Gwendolyn, her enemy, and is unsure of whether she should save her or not. Tegan eventually reaches the decision to save Gwen because it is her responsibility. However, when Tegan and Edge arrive at the building top pool to save Gwen, she refuses help. In order to prevent Gwen from getting in the car with a drunk driver, Tegan steals her purse and saves Gwen's life. A while later, Gwen thanks Tegan, but is skeptical about how Tegan knew that she would have died. Eventually, Gwen and Tegan bond over this life or death situation and become close friends, leading to the following action.
The following action. After Gwen and Tegan become friends, the following action starts when Edge informs Tegan about his aunt's gambling habits. Together, they set out to the hotel to confiscate his mother's credit card and prevent his aunt from spending considerable amounts of money on gambling. Larry, Tegan's stepfather, then gains Tegan's trust by lending her and Edge his car. Edge and Tegan break into his aunt's hotel room and take Edge's mother's credit card. A couple days later, Tegan sees Sharon's name and she rushes to stop Sharon's date from ending terribly. As soon as Tegan meets Jeffrey, Sharon's date, she automatically recognizes that something about him is unsettling. Later, Jeffrey exposes his true menacing character and Tegan and Sharon narrowly escape his grasp. After Tegan's mom shows Tegan a box filled with her father's belongings, the following action concludes when Tegan begins to suspect that her father has been the root of this entire mystery.
The resolution. After Tegan discovers her father's belongings, she vacations to California to visit her friend Jenna. While she inspects her receipt, Tegan notices that the bolded letters spell out her own name. At first, Tegan begins to hyperventilate and fear for her life, so she attempts to find someone who looks suspicious. Tegan panics, but after processing the situation, Tegan realizes that this was the last name and she was destined to find that the old Tegan must die. She had to let go of her old grief, stop mourning over her father's death, and forgive her mother. In order to fulfill the task, Tegan opens her computer and begins to type several messages. She wrote to her mother saying how she was sorry for disregarding her feelings and holding her love for Gary against her. She also wrote to Coach and thanked him for always helping and supporting her. Finally, she finished her college application and summarized how people need time to grow and succeed in life.
There are many themes displayed in Look Closer. One theme of Look Closer is that the line between life and death is very thin. For example, Tegan's father's life ended suddenly and unexpectedly, similarly to what could have happened to the people Tegan saved. Another theme is live life to the fullest, because you never know when it will end.
Tegan encountered many life or death situations, and she learned that because death is inevitable, you should make the most of life while you can. However, the most important theme is that you should not let your past prevent you from living your life. Tegan was held back by the fact that she could not move on from her father's death. She did not enjoy life, and was shut out from the real world. When she finally accepted her father's death, the whole world was open to her. She improved her relationship with her mother, saved lives, fell in love, found a new best friend, and began to look at the world in a different way. Tegan realized that while the past would always be a part of her life, she would not allow it to determine her future.
The story begins when Tegan, the main character, eats her dried cereal. This is where she spots something out of the ordinary.
Honey, you can't just sit around here all summer not doing anything. You gotta get a job or do some volunteering or better yet, get cracking on your college applications.
I'm still trying to get over the fact that my father is dead, unlike you who got remarried 6 months later.
7. And Tegan, you've punished me enough for this. It's getting old.
Heidi ho, everyone! Gotta check my stocks. Did you do this?
What is it?
It's just a name. Brady Hart.
That's odd.
Yeah, it must be a coincidence. Yeah.
Hello there, I'm Gypsy Smith. Welcome to today's Channel 66 News broadcast. We start our broadcast with breaking news. A man fell off the scaffolding and broke all his bones. He died later of those injuries. His name was Brady Hart. He was working on a building and suddenly fell off the scaffolding. Here is some witness video sent from Divik Vlade.
Oh my god.
After finding Brady Hart on the cereal box, she knows that there will be more. As she bumps her leg on the table leg, she spots a name.
A few moments later.
Why do you do it?
I don't know. I never known.
Me neither. So if you don't know this guy, why are you even here?
Well, I saw a sign.
Really? What kind of sign?
You think I was crazy if I told you.
Try me.
Unless you won't laugh.
Only if it's funny.
It's not actually. I saw his name.
What?
Well, one day when I was getting ready, I was going to the shower and I noticed his name was written in the dust on my windowsill. So I went on Google, tried looking for anyone under that name, found his address, and I wound up following him to the exact place where he took his life.
Oh, I believe you, 100%. It's just, do you think there will be even more signs?
Yeah, I'm scared.
After Tom Elliott's death and funeral, she and Edge find more and more names, until one name was too familiar.
Another one?
Another one. It's Gwendolyn. She was, well, my nemesis. She said that my nose was big. I may not like her, but we have to save her. Let's go.
Okay.
What's up?
Hi, I'm here to tell my friend something.
Cool. Go on in.
We're so drunk. Let's take a selfie. Yeah.
Let's go make some, like, margaritas.
Let's do that.
Give me the keys. I'm driving.
Okay.
Hey! Tegan, what are you doing?
Can we talk for a second?
We don't talk.
Please, just a moment.
What do you want?
Call an Uber. She's too drunk to drive.
No. What are you... Are you my mom or something?
Just do it, okay?
No. You guys are crazy.
Tegan, what are you doing with my bag? Oh no, I'm gonna miss my ride. Don't leave without me.
I'm going.
Tegan, my God, Tegan, what the heck was that for?
Use your purse.
I'm calling an Uber, I guess. Rude.
A few inches later.
Asia.
Morgan crashed the car.
Is she okay?
She's in the ICU. How did you know?
I had a feeling.
What?
Well, she was drunk. She was in no condition to drive. I knew that she couldn't either.
I mean, the back end of the car got crushed. If I were in there, I would have died. So, I mean, thanks, I guess.
After the incident with Gwendolyn, Tegan got an invitation from her friend in California. She decided to go. As Tegan made her way to the airport, she saw someone she had not seen in a while.
There she is. Here, just in case.
Thanks. I was so worried about you.
I'm sorry, there's so much things that have been happening. I haven't really had that much time.
It's fine. I've only checked my phone like twice.
Listen, Tegan, I have to tell you something in person. I'm sorry I haven't texted back recently.
It's okay. But what is it? Is it your aunt?
Yeah, my aunt's in rehab. Actually, it's not my aunt, but my aunt's in rehab and she has no longer control of my mom's finances.
That's good. Good for you.
But the reason I am here to tell you is that I was thinking the only reason I like alien life and stuff is because, you know, life kind of sucks here on Earth. Until I met you.
Thank you.
And I thought I couldn't handle it.
I wonder why the author added the scene where Edge and Tegan went to Vegas to steal Edge's mom's credit card from his aunt. The scene was not significant, and no one spoke of it afterwards. Also, I wondered why Tom Elliott decided to commit suicide. His family members mentioned how they never saw a sign or thought he was unhappy. Edge even said that Hugh had never expected him to do such a thing, and he and Tom were best friends. If the author had added an explanation for his decision, the reader would have a better grasp of the story.
I was surprised when Tegan didn't think fast enough to save Tom Elliott. This surprised me because she seemed like a smart girl, and after the first sign, I think that she would have realized what was going on. I thought that she would have at least tried to talk to him before he jumped in front of the train.
I wish the author had completed the novel more thoroughly and included flashes of Tegan's life in college. This would have shown the effects of her saving people on a larger scale. Readers could have learned if she was successful in college, was still in contact with Edge, still saw signs, and if the lessons she learned had paid off.
I hated when Edge's aunt was wasting Edge's mom's money on gambling. His aunt had an extensive gambling problem and it took control of her life. This addiction was awful and I found myself hoping that she would stop. Go.
I thought the ending was great because it finished the book with a happy ending. It ended with Tegan joining the swim team again and competing in the regional competition. Tegan was once again happy after getting over her dad's death, which was a big obstacle for her. Now she has a boyfriend and is doing what she likes to do most, swimming.
Okay,
Say as
our
loud as
group
you can.
liked this book because, in the end, Tegan finally was able to let go of her grief and when she saw her name. In the last scene, she saw her own name and realized that her old self was being tormented with all of these past events. It was weighing her down. We were also able to get a better glimpse of Tegan's father in the end because she opened a box with letters and pictures from her father. This showed us how caring her father is. Finally, when Tegan read the letter from her father, we realized that the chapters correlated with the letter. This made the book feel more personal.